All right, well, I have just, I want to sum up two chapters at one time because it's this number 17 is a control number. It's like when someone has seized control, and this is this idea of the higher mind actually gaining control. And so it's a, it's like a prayer. Jesus goes to this place to do a little prayer, and it's just over a little place where he's all by himself. And it is a prayer as if, God, accept me, please. I've done my work. I've finished all these things. I've done everything I can, and la 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 la. And so that's 9. This is a representing of the number, well, of the number 8, which is a control number. Now, it's how do you go about controlling, and you'll find that it's really just that you just don't go for this other side anymore, and you just you have the truth in you now, and you've been giving the power over all flesh and stuff like that. So it's like, and it's like a thank you, and I'm joyful, I'm thankful of all of this. I think it's wonderful. You have given them thy word, and thy world has hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of this world. I pray not you to be shouldst take them out of this world, but that they shouldst keep them from the evil. Well, I sure hope that. I don't want to have any evil come to me, but this is the idea that this takes away your adversaries. All right, and so we'll get to know what those are, as you live life, because you know that you don't die in these stories at all. So I wanted to yada yada over this scripture, this particular John 17. It's like a prayer and thank you for hooking up. Remember, he just made us friends and stuff like that, and this seals the deal. It's what this is. 8 seals the deal. And we're going to move on to the next one, which is John 18. You add those together, you'll get a 9. It's a conscious number. We're going to find out. These are about being on the positive side. And what's happening is when Jesus had spoken these words, he went forth. So after he had done his prayer to God, and remember, he was separate from everybody, and he was, out of way talking about this. And so this garden where they had gone to, Judas also knew this place. And so this is this, it's beautifully written, but this is the bringing Jesus to Caiaphas, or to this high priest place, and to him cutting off an ear, and him asking for Jesus, and the guy stepping back when it happens, and being talked about as being the king of the Jews. Well, this particular 9 is representing the outside of us, the outside, because it goes all the way up, and instead of smiting, which is what someone does when they hit something, and that's used in the outside world, Jesus gets smited and says, answer his questions. He says, well, what for you want to hit me for? Why do you smite me for? But this winds up around 7. And let's see, it says, then asked him again, who speak thee? And he, whom from you speak? Jesus answered, I have told you this. And where's this? Jesus saith unto them, I am he. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with him. As soon as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backwards and fell to the ground. This is 6. This is the top chakra again. They've always been in the midst in this situation. All right. But falling backwards is kind of interesting because this is that idea that once we get over on this other side, they all fall down and go to sleep. These are the guards, and the guards all fall asleep. The men in the town get out of town, and the doors on the jails all open up and stuff like that. But here it didn't happen. They just fell backwards. So this is not representing what goes on the spiritual side of things. Of course, they make fun of him and stuff like that later on. Of course, that's going to be the next parts of this, so we're not going to talk about them. When he's asked, oh, well, like I was saying, that these are all representing the outside things. See, who's called up with this priest, who wants to go up, and they're held out by the gate. There's a gate. Once you get up to the gate, Simon wasn't allowed in, which is the pineal gland. All right, he's not allowed in there, but someone that was able to get in, someone who was able to get in talked to the woman who watched the gate. She came back and let Peter in. Now, these are still things that are talking about the sixth chakra, and they've now made it over to the other side, but they don't go into heaven. They're going into the high priest's office, and they're going before Caiaphas and the royal side of things, the king's court. And so it's just very interesting, that this is the outside thing that goes up. And usually in this area, this is where the synagogue shows up, where or the real temple and the synagogue, show up at this particular point. So this particular consciousness is showing that he hasn't flipped over onto the other side. This is still showing that this is still on this side of the chakra system, on this side of 6, where all these things are being acted out in a more physical plane. And even then, when they punch Jesus, the smiting of Jesus. Let's see here. The part where Simon comes and draws his swords and cuts the guy's ear off. That's this idea that Peter is the one that is the Petra. He's the stone, and his job is to cleave and split in half you, so that'll set the male side to one side and the female side to its side. That's what that is about. So this is again acted out in a physical situation for the father's side, for the father's script in here. But we know that the pineal gland is that separating part of us, that when we get there, this is the sixth chakra, this is Jesus, and he takes us over and baptizes us with the mother. So this is it. There's an inside thing, and then there's an outside thing. I don't know how many times you got to say that. Probably until I'm blue in the face. Who cares? So, so this band of captains and officers and Jews. Let's see what they are on my list. Captains becomes the 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the 5th chakra. He was just sent before the judges to judge whether or not he done something wrong, and so that's the 1, 2, 3. That's the 4th chakra. That's your heart. It's the judges. Captains are 5. This would be our mouths, and now we're up here with governors. We're up here with governors, and that is the 6th chakra. That's where we are in the story. We are at the 6th chakra in this. This is just so cool, you guys. Now, Cephas was given counsel with the Jews on we also get the first parts of this, that Simon is going to he's going to not believe in, he's not going to say he's a part of his followers. He's going to deny him 3 times. You got to, because remember 1, 2, and 3, and then beautiful things happen. All right. And so that's how this is going to go. This damsel at the door that kept the door is one that let Peter in. Remember, damsel? Damsel is another outside messenger. It becomes damsel, the mother, the daughter of the woman who asked for John the Baptist's head. She was a damsel. The high priest then asked Jesus of his disciples and of his doctrine. Sorry about the dead time. So anyways, this is this idea that one of the servants of the high priest, being his kinsman, whose ears Peter cut off, said, so he's in the priest's office too. So he's in there with, this dude, with Simon. Simon's, they're all in this priest place, this priestly place. All right, and it's being acted out on. This would be like the church putting on a show. All right, and lights, camera, and action. Peter denied again, and immediately the cock crew. All right. All right, so let's see. There's not a whole. This is pretty long. My kingdom come. My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight for me and deliver me, not to the Jews. But this is not my kingdom. So he has to be delivered to the Jews because this is the outside of the Bible. It has to be done like that. But in his own mind, this is where he's being taken to be delivered because this is what his so-called father sent him to do, and he's going to finish his job. He's going to finish this job. Okay, so towards the end of this part of the story, we get this custom that, I can't find anything wrong with this guy. My hands are clean of the blood of this man. Oh, but it's on your Passover, we're allowed to give someone up free. And we find that they give up Barabbas. I don't care. I've always messed that name up. I mess up a lot of names all the time. But let's call him B-A-R-A, Barabbas. That sounds pretty cool. So this winds up on a 4, and so what they're doing is they cried. This is the crowd winds up being. This is a 4. At the end of this is going to be a wonderful thing. At the end of this is 4. The 4 meaning the world. All right. So we get. Remember, it goes from east. It goes from the west, and then it goes to the north, our emotions, and it goes to south, which is our physical side, and then it goes to our spiritual side. What's going on? What is going on in the world? All right, so here it is. And they all cried again. This is the crowd, represents the outside, the intellect. All right, they cried. Not this man, but Barabbas. All right, so Barabbas. And Barabbas was a robber. If you can remember back in the day when we were looking up all of these businesses, that the first kingdom and second kingdoms and third kingdoms and all these things, that when God is not involved, then that fourth kingdom becomes filled with robbers, right? And demons. So here we go again, that we are going to kill the Christ, we're going to crucify him, and we're going to let loose the robber. So you have to understand that Barabbas is representing the outside, the carnal mind, the dark side, the robber, the one that takes from you, the stranger. And of course, they're going to, on the inside of these stories, kill and then resurrect the body. So, it's awful on one side, robber and taking you away and trotting and doing all the bad stuff and taking you in the opposite direction of God, and then this one on the inside takes you right to God, right on, boom, zing, zang. Don't get put in jail, stuff like that. You go right through to God itself. All right. And so I hope you guys got something out of that. We had to compact those two because one was just like, it's just being glorified in God. I already know how beautiful it is. This idea of, so I could just sit there and say, oh God, thank you for all this stuff. Beautiful. That would be that particular chapter. All right. And I'll see you later. Have I told you that I loved you lately? I do.